There's a quiet skill that almost no one teaches us. Not at school, not in any class, and not in any book that the world hands you as a child. The skill of letting go. The skill of recognizing in your own body the moment when something has run its course. The skill of knowing the difference between perseverance and clinging. We are taught the opposite mostly. We are taught to push through, to not give up, to finish what we started. And those are useful instincts when applied to the right things. But applied to the wrong things, to relationships that have ended, to projects that have served their purpose, to versions of ourselves we are quietly outgrowing, those instincts become a trap. Welcome to One Question, a short weekly reflection to help you reconnect with your body, your values, and your truth. This week's question is, what am I ready to let go of? It is the right question for me to ask this week because, and I want to be honest with you about this from the start of the episode, this is the last episode of One Question. When I sat down to ask myself this week's question, that was the answer that came back. And it surprised me a little bit, not because I had not been feeling it, but because I had been quietly arguing with myself about it for a few weeks. I have loved making this podcast. I have loved the small ritual of sitting with a question every week and trying to ask it well. I have loved hearing from a few of you, the messages, the moments that you wrote and said, this one helped. That has been very precious. And I have also noticed over the last while that the energy ledger has stopped balancing. The work it takes to make this show, the research, the writing, the reading, the recording, the supporting content, the small constant care, has come to outweigh the energy it returns. It's not that it stopped being good, it is that it stopped being good for me to keep doing. This is the distinction that I think is worth naming. Because in our culture, we tend to assume that the right time to end something is when it has become bad, when it is failing, when you have come to dread it. Those are, of course, signs. But there is also another quieter sign, the one I've come to know in myself. The recognition that something has been good and is still good, but it is no longer worth what it costs you to keep doing it. Former poker champion Annie Duke wrote a book a few years ago called Quit, which has been on my mind a lot lately. Her central argument, and I would love for you to take this from this episode if nothing else, is that quitting is a skill, not a failure. Our culture has trained us to treat quitting as some sort of moral defect. Stick-with-itness is the virtue. Giving upness is the flaw. But what the data shows, and Duke is exactly the right person to make this argument because she spent her career as a professional whose entire job was to know when to fold, is that winners quit a lot. The skill is not perseverance for its own sake. The skill is discernment, knowing what to persevere with and what to release. And there is a name for the trap that keeps us holding on to things past their natural end. Behavioral economists call it the sunk cost fallacy. It is the human tendency to make decisions based on what we have already invested rather than on what the future investment is actually worth. We stay in the relationship because of the years we have already spent. We finish the boring book because we are halfway through. We keep going with the project because we have already put so much into it. But here's what the research is consistent about. Past investment cannot be recovered by future investment. Yikes. The years are gone. The book is half read. The work is done. The only honest question, the only question worth asking is whether what you would spend next is worth what it would return, which is, when I look at it cleanly, the question I have been asking myself about this podcast. And the answer is no longer yes. Mary Oliver, in her poem, In the Blackwater Woods, wrote that to live in this world, we must learn to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it close against our bones, knowing our life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go. I have always thought the final instruction was the hardest, not because we don't know how, but because we mistake holding on for love. We think that to release something is to betray the love we had for it, and so we cling. We hold past the natural arc. We mistake the duration of holding for the depth of caring. The deepest love I know how to give something I have made is to release it when the time has come. Not before, not after. When? The held thing rots if it's held too long. The released thing keeps being what it was. A chapter, a beautiful contained thing, an arc with a beginning and an end. The releasing is, in fact, the final act of love. There is a particular feeling that arrives when you finally let yourself release something that you have been holding past its time. It's not loss exactly, though loss is part of it. It's more like a long exhale that you did not know you had been holding. The shoulders drop, the jaw softens, and there is a strange, quiet expansion in the chest where the holding used to live. This is, I think, the body's wisdom asserting itself. The body is known, often for months before the mind admits, that the thing is no longer for you. The body has been carrying the weight, and the body's relief, when you finally set the weight down, is biological. It's real. So I want to leave you with the same question I have been sitting with. What are you ready to let go of? Not what should you let go of, not what would be sensible or practical, or what has someone else been telling you to release. The honest version of this question: what is your body quietly telling you it's ready to set down? It might be small, the commitment you keep saying yes to out of habit, the role you took on that no longer fits, the opinion that someone else is holding that you have quietly agreed to keep agreeing with, the version of yourself you outgrew years ago and have been politely impersonating ever since. It might be larger, the project that has served its purpose, the relationship that has ended in everything except the agreement to call it ended. A belief about yourself you have outgrown. A way of being in the world that was once useful, and it no longer is. Whatever it is, ask the question and let your body answer before your mind starts negotiating. This has been One Question. Thank you for listening. Truly, the making of this would not have meant what it has meant without the small but real knowledge that someone, now and then, was on the other end of it, sitting with the question alongside me. That is no small thing. If you have a favorite question from one of these episodes, take it with you. The questions don't expire. Who do you want to be in this moment is still one that I ask myself every day. What intention am I setting still shapes the way I start my mornings. Are you okay? Is one I now ask more deliberately of the people I love. What makes me feel warm inside is one that I will be asking for the rest of my life. Take any of them. They're yours. And then, when the next question arises in your own life and you find yourself sitting with it, trust that asking it is its own answer. The question itself does almost all the work. We mostly just need to be willing to ask it. So I'll leave you one last time with this week's What Am I Ready to Let Go Of? Be kind to yourself, trust your gut, and always ask better questions. Thank you for joining me. This was One Question.